So therefore, the people that were unable to attend can still get the information. And so I'll send the link to them afterwards. And I will also send it to you guys as well. So good morning, everyone. My name is Angela Halverson, and I'll be your presenter today. Lots of information to cover. Of course, the name of this session is the Steps to Starting a Business, and it's going to be approximately 1 hour. I am going to mute everyone's phone just so that if there's no feedback or interruptions in the background, but if you have any questions, feel free to unmute your microphone and then you can ask a question. Or if you prefer, you can put it in the chat box down below and I will answer the question. Sometimes when you ask the question, it's going to be coming up in the seminar. So if you want to put it in the chat, I can make sure that I get to it. And then if I miss it, then I'll go back and answer the questions. If you have to leave at any time during the presentation, no problem. Just go ahead and leave or end the video. So I'd like to start just by telling you a little bit about myself and my role here at Rainy River Future Development Corporation. As I mentioned, my name is Angela Halverson. I've been here, actually tomorrow is my work anniversary, will be 22 years. So I've been around a while. My title here is the Business Investment Manager. So I work directly with entrepreneurs that are looking at either starting a business, or if they have a business and want to expand, or perhaps somebody wants to purchase a business. All of these types of things I help with. Both in the form of business counseling or giving advice or giving information, but also we have a loan program here as well, where we can lend up to $500,000 to assist businesses in getting started or expanding and that sort of thing. So we have both of those types of services that we offer. In my spare time at home, I also have a home-based business called Dreamweaver Ranch, where I run a ranch that provides horseback riding lessons and horse clubs, different horse experiences as well. So that's something I do in the evenings and the weekends. I'm a longtime horse enthusiast. And then during COVID, a lot of the horseback riding things were not allowed. So I actually did sort of transition my business a little bit to making home crafts and tumblers and things like that I sell online now as well. So I've got a few things that I do outside of my everyday job, but it keeps me in the entrepreneurial spirit, and it also helps me to understand what's going on in the markets out there right now as well. So I will be sharing my screen with you so that you can see all of the links and the items that I'm going to be talking about. I am going to give you a list in the chat box of all of the items that I'm going to cover today, but every one of them will have more information that I'll be giving to you. So I just posted the steps to starting a business, and I'll be going through each one of those steps and providing links and information to help with that as well. So I'm going to share my screen to start. It should be coming up. Maybe just give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. It's an entrepreneurial potential. Excellent. Thank you. And so this is sort of your step one. So my steps to starting a business, step one is to assess yourself. And I'm going to provide you a link to this website, which is the Business Development Bank of Canada. They have actually provided an entrepreneurial self-assessment. So this is a questionnaire that you can go to decide, is entrepreneurship for you? It's not for everyone. Entrepreneurship can be hard. It can be long hours. And not always a regular paycheck. So if you're not someone that can live that way, then maybe entrepreneurship is not for you. However, there are some great rewards as well to being an entrepreneur. And many of them I'm sure you probably already know of, such as, you're able to be your own boss. You'll be able to expand your business as you so wish. You can set your own hours. So for example, if you had children and you need to run children, you can sort of you can revolve around that a little bit as needed. So there's lots of different positives and negatives, pros and cons to entrepreneurship. And this self-assessment really does help you to decide, is this for you? So that's really step one. Is entrepreneurship right for you? And if it comes out that you decide, yes, this is what I want to do, then certainly now we're going to move to step two. So step two is to start doing your research. So I usually recommend going to websites that are reputable websites. Now, this is a Government of Canada website. You have to be a little bit careful out there because there can be websites out there that appear to be government issued websites, but always look for the Canada.ca or Ontario, or look at the website to make sure that it is actually a government website. So this is a really good starting point here about starting a business through the Government of Canada website. It goes through planning a business, choosing a name. We're going to get into some of these a little bit later on. Registering your business, applying for any permits or licenses, and then of course getting business support and financing. So it really does start you off at the sort of planning stage, which is where I was saying do your research as number one, and then number two, and then number three is to make a plan. So you can start out looking at what goes into planning a business by clicking on this part of this website. And also there is some really great information on business planning out there. This part can get a little bit overwhelming. So be aware that there are literally thousands of different ways to plan a business, to write a business plan. So again, trying to go to websites that are reputable. There are three that I recommend. This is one of them, called FedDev Ontario. Here in Northwestern Ontario, we're covered by FedNor. FedDev is Southern Ontario, but we all work together for the Government of Ontario, or through the Government of Ontario as a federal program. So this is going to help you to start with the planning process and actually start to do a business plan. So there are some links in here that will actually help you to produce a business plan. The next one that I also recommend is through what's called Futurepreneur Canada. This is a little bit of a more in-depth type of a business plan, but what's really kind of neat about it is that your business plan is an interactive business plan writer. You actually do it right online. You can log in. So you'll create a login and a password, and you can start writing your business plan online. What's kind of nifty about this is that it actually goes through each of the different parts of a business plan, and it gives you examples. So here, for example, under pricing strategy, it tells you what the pricing strategy is. It gives you some examples of a pricing strategy that you can actually copy into your business plan. A lot of times people get stuck on some of the wording and things like that. So this is helpful in that it sort of walks you through that process. And you can actually add and delete things out of here as well. So for sales and marketing in this example, it shows that, there's a pricing strategy and a marketing strategy. You could also add a positioning statement, a sales process, and strategic alliances, but you don't need to have those in there. Those are available to you if you wish to. So this one is a little more complicated than some of the others that are out there, but what's nice about it is it does really work you through the planning process. You'll see here that there are templates, videos, and examples to help you, and also how-to guides. So, if you're new to business planning and you've never done one before, this is a really great resource to help you through that process. And then Rainy River Future Development Corporation, we also have a business plan outline that we give out to anyone that requests one. So our business plan outline is a bit more of a simplified version, and it's a workbook format. So what we do is we ask questions, and how you answer those questions, that formulates your business plan. So I'll be sending that out to everyone after the seminar as well. So you'll get a copy of the business plan outline. You'll get all of these links like I had mentioned earlier, and you'll also get a template for cash flow forecasting. So I just wanted to mention about business planning. It can be, like I mentioned, a little overwhelming. This is a lot of what I assist with. I help you with your business plan. I help you to work through it. I find that most people get stuck on the financial forecasting, and that's sort of my area of expertise. I can help you through that. There are resources to help you through that as well. So, so if you're in the planning stage and you want to work on a business plan, let me know. I'm happy to meet with you. We can either meet in person or online, and we can work through a business plan with assistance as well. So those are part of the services that we offer here. The next is talking a little bit more about planning your finances. So in here, in this Futurepreneur website as well, they have a cash flow template. So when you're planning your financial section of your business plan, you can use this cash flow template. Again, I will be sending our cash flow template, and they actually do have tutorials and videos as well to help you with that, or I can help you individually as well. The next one is then going to choosing your business name. So planning your finances, choosing your structure. Oh, I guess I missed the structure. Hang on. Let me just click on that and get that up. Didn't come up on my list here. So there's three main types of structures for businesses. There's sole proprietorship, partnership, or corporation. So those three types of legal registered business structures are the three main types. So this link that I'm going to be sending to you will give you more information about the different types and what they are. So for example, sole proprietorship, it's very easy to start and it's very easy to get created. It's not very expensive to get started as a sole proprietorship either. This will also go through, some of the pros and cons of each of the different types of business structures. So sole proprietorship is one person, only one person on the business. Partnership is when there are two or more people that are in a legal structure for a partnership. So this brings, even a husband and wife, or two friends or two business partners together. And then the third type that's very common is the corporation. So it's a bit more complicated of a legal structure compared to the sole proprietorship and partnership. And it is a separate legal entity from your personal information. So some people will register a corporation because they want it to be separate from their personal, but you are of course liable for anything that happens in your business, no matter what. But corporation is often used for that purpose, so that it's a separate legal entity. So that's, again, it goes through what each of them are. It talks a little bit about, it says here what's simpler, which is better for you. Now, technically, the only one that can really give you advice on which structure is right for you is a lawyer, because they will give you that legal advice. However, I will tell you that most businesses that I've dealt with in the 22 years that I've been here start out as sole proprietorships and then as they grow and get bigger, and perhaps there's more risk in the business, they may decide to incorporate down the road. That's typically what happens. But there are certain businesses that do choose to incorporate right away. So that, you know, we can always talk about that if you have any questions on that. So the next one in our list, number 6, is to pick and register your business name. So there is a good piece of advice here on selecting a good name. You have to make sure that it reflects your products or service. Think about how you want your business to be perceived. Pick something easy to remember, easy to pronounce, make it unique and distinctive. So I'll give you just a little example when I decided to open my business, and the name of my business is Dreamweaver Ranch, but that is not the initial business name that I chose. So just a little history on Dreamweaver. The reason I chose that was the name of my first horse, and he was very instrumental in getting me into you know, the love of horses. So I was sort of stuck on Dreamweaver as a part of the business name. However, my initial choice was Dreamweaver Horsemanship. And when I really looked at who I was targeting for my business, it was beginners. And a lot of beginners don't necessarily know what horsemanship is. And just for those of you that don't know, horsemanship is like sportsmanship. It's the love of horses and working with horses and that sort of thing. So I really had to look at, you know, making sure that my market, the people that I'm trying to target, understood what I was offering. So I actually did a business survey prior to opening my business, and in there I gave 4 choices. I had Dreamweaver Horsemanship, Dreamweaver Equestrian Center, Dreamweaver Stable, and Dreamweaver Ranch. And I think Dreamweaver Horsemanship, which was my first choice, was actually at the bottom of the list when I got my survey results back, because people didn't know what that meant. And so, but Dreamweaver Ranch, people understood what a ranch means, whether it's a small ranch, a large ranch, they understand what a ranch is. So selecting a good name is very important. And oftentimes you want to think about who are you trying to attract to your business, so that you're making sure you give them something that they understand, that they can remember, and that it's distinctive. So that's just a little bit about selecting a name. And then you can also do searching to see if it's already taken. And you can also register it by going through this website that I'll send you the link to. What's next? So registering your business name, there are different levels that you have to register at. So this one here is with the Government of Canada. And so this is when you need to register. So there's 3 levels of government. There's the municipal government, there is provincial government, and then there is federal government. So you want to make sure that you're registering all of those 3 if you need it in your community, right? So everyone, I'm not sure where everyone is from on the call today, but in Fort Frances, if you're going to run a business in Fort Frances, for example, you have to have a license with the town of Fort Frances. Emo, for example, does not have that requirement. Some First Nation communities require that you have a band council resolution in order to operate a business in that community. So check with your local municipal or band office to find out whether or not they have that requirement. And if they do, then just ask them for the paperwork to get that process started. So with the next level, which is your provincial, that is when you need to register the actual name of your business. So so this is a good example. If you're a sole proprietorship operating a business under your legal name, so Jane Doe, just have to move my kittens. Okay, you generally don't need to register a business name, but if you were Jane Doe Consulting, then you would have to register that. So if you add anything else to your name, you do need to register. But if you just decide you want to register, or you just want to run the business under your own personal name, then that's not required. I will be sending you links to all the places to get registered and get yourself legal. And then also, one of the other things that I'm going to be talking about shortly is getting registered with the Canada Revenue. So that's the federal level. I'm just going to see if that's also on here. No, it's, I think, one of the next ones I have coming up. The section on registering your business, again, I'll be sending that out, and I will be able to help you with that if anyone has any questions on getting registered. The federal level of government is when you would register for your HST if you're needing to register. Also for import-export, corporate income tax, and payroll. So if you are going to be offering any of those things, then you need to register with the Government of Canada. And if you have any questions on whether or not you need to register for HST, because there is a $30,000 item there where if your sales are under 30,000 in the last 4 quarters, you're not required to register. Please let me know if you're thinking you may or may not have to. I can walk you through that and decide. We can help you decide if you need to register for that or not. So under business permits and licensing, there is this website called BizPal. This is fairly up to date. Last time I checked, you can actually search and find out what, if any, business permits and licenses you need in your area. So that is a really good resource as well, BizPal. The next one to really think about on our list is insurance. So business insurance is essential to running your business, whether you're running it from your home, whether you have an outside, like a storefront or a business that's outside of your home as well. You want to make sure that you're covered for business insurance. And there are different types of insurance that you may or may not need. So again, something you want to talk with your insurance company about. I usually recommend going through whoever you're going through now for whether it's your car insurance or house insurance or that. So start there and they'll be able to help you through the process of deciding what insurance you need exactly. There's a great list here of the different types of insurance. So commercial insurance, liability insurance, errors and omissions, buy and sell. It doesn't talk about life insurance other than key person life insurance, but just keep in mind that when you're sole proprietorship or in a business for yourself, you may need to also have outside life insurance or health insurance to cover you in case anything happens. So insurance is one of those things that we need. Not everyone likes it, but of course it's required as part of doing a business. In fact, I know when you go to register your business with the town of Fort Frances, you actually need to provide your liability policy number on that application. So contact your insurance company. This will give you a bit of more information on what types of insurance you may need. And again, I can give you assistance with that. Step 8 gets into accounting. So now we want to make sure that we're keeping our records properly and making sure that we have all of our documents in place. I usually recommend, if you don't have skills in accounting, that you hire someone to do that for you. It's just like anything else. I wouldn't go and try and build myself a cupboard because I'm not a carpenter. So therefore, I would hire someone to build myself a cabinet, right? So I recommend that if you want to keep your books in good order, then you hire someone to do it. If you have some skills in bookkeeping and accounting, or say if you decide you want to take a course in it, then there are some great accounting software out there that you can use to get your business, keep your business records. I'm just going to scroll down because it actually has a list of all the different ones, and it shows you, what's English, what works for English and French. There's some that are free. So this one, for example, is free. Memento, I haven't actually tried that one. The most popular business accounting systems are Simply Accounting, or now called Sage Accounting, and either QuickBooks or Quicken. they're going to be, here's QuickBooks Online. I've seen a bit on the Wave accounting. That is another free one, but it doesn't have a lot of capability, I find. So those will definitely get you started. We'll give you some basic information, like basic accounting software, and then you can upgrade from there. But Sage Accounting, QuickBooks are probably the most common and most used by the accounting professionals in the area. So next we have business records. So the Government of Canada puts out really good information on keeping your business records, what income records you need to keep, what expense and property records you need to keep. And it will also describe what each of them are. It also will tell you that you need to keep, paper format or a scanned copy of these in your files. Always remember to back up those files, because if you for some reason lose your accounting information, you still have to provide that to the Government of Canada. So therefore, make sure it's always backed up and offsite. So it also goes to your expense records, what you have to keep. And there's a really great publication called, shoot, I forgot the name of it now. Guide to Canadian Small Businesses, I believe is the name of it. I'll be sending you a link to that as well. And it's got a great outline of all of this. And it talks a little bit about how HST or GST, HST work with that and that as well. So that will be coming out to you. The next thing is that I just started to mention is taxes. So looking at income tax, GST, HST, payroll, business numbers, and that sort of thing. There's, again, some great information on getting your business registered. If you're going to have staff in your business, if you're going to have people working for you, you need to get a payroll number. You can get that all online. It's a very easy process. I've helped many people do it. So if anyone is thinking they may or may not need it, let me know. Again, I can help you with that, help you get registered and get your business legal and ready to go. So again, that one is on the business taxes. Next, we have opening a bank account. So I usually recommend that you have a separate bank account for your business. Here locally, we have 4 main banks, the RBC, CIBC, TD, and Alterna. And each one of them have different programs for business accounts. So I would also recommend go where you go now. So if you, for example, I bank at Royal Bank, so that's where I have my business account set up. It seems to be easier to do it that way. If you, if you have them linked to your personal, you can easily, move money from personal to business or business to personal as needed. But every program or every bank has a different program for helping with business. And I'll send you the links to all of these. So depending on which business you bank at now, there's CIBC, TD has some different business packages, and then Alterna, they have different business ones as well. Now, talking about bank accounts, I do also recommend that, so you're going to have your main operating business account from your business. I also recommend another either savings or checking account aside from your main operating account. And what I recommend you use that for is to put your business tax money in. So say you send someone an invoice for $100 plus HST, so it'd be $113 because the 13% is your HST. I would then take that $13 and set it into a separate bank account, because you're going to have to remit that to the government at some point in time. Often, if it's sitting in your regular operating account, it gets missed, and then you think you have more money in there than you actually do. That money belongs to the government. You need to send that to the government. If it's out of your main operating account, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. And it will be there when you need it to submit into the government. So when you first submit into the government, they're going to put you probably on a quarterly remittance term. So meaning every 3 months, you'll submit your that HST into the government. Well, you want to make sure that in those 3 months, you've got that money tucked away so that when that comes due, that money is there and you just send it into the government. I've known a lot of people that get into trouble with HST. And so if you can immediately start off by setting that money aside, it just sets you up for success. The next thing, step 10, is to talk about setting up your business location. So how to choose the right location for your business. So you want to think about, and you may have heard this, marketing people, location, 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 location. That's what they talk about. So you have to think about where it's going to be, how it's situated to your market, your target market, the customers that you want to attract. You look at, are you going to rent? Are you going to buy? All of these different things. So finding the right location for your business is very, very important and a good part of the planning process to go through and find out, what's available out there. Is it going to meet your needs, and adapt to the needs of the business? Perhaps if the business expands, is there room to expand? All of these different things. So it's a good idea to read through this information on selecting your business location and therefore setting yourself up again for success down the road. The next part is going to be about setting up your team. So how to hire and recruit employees. Right now, we're in a situation where there are a lot of jobs available in our local community. So really finding a good person to work for you is not as easy as it maybe once was. So you want to learn how to not only just hire anyone, but hire the best employee for your business. And the Business Development Bank of Canada has put out a great publication about bringing on new employees, hiring, finding the best candidates, and then identifying your hiring needs as well as the needs of the new hire. So again, another great publication that you can look at if you are indeed planning to hire employees in your business. So we're getting to the point where we're almost ready to start. I know there's a lot of planning that goes into any new business or existing business that wants to expand or buying a business. So planning is so important. And the next part is actually getting ready to promote your business. So marketing in itself, marketing is not necessarily just advertising, but other parts of developing your market for your business, right? So we have different levels of, looking at researching, figuring out who is your target market. One of the things I find one of the common mistakes people make is defining your target market, saying, well, you know what, anyone can come and ride horses at Dreamweaver Ranch because it's open to everyone. And it is indeed open to everyone. But what you want to do is you want to target down who is your ideal customer, who is that customer that's going to make up the majority of your sales, who is the person you're trying to attract to your business. You're going to get other people when you're trying to attract that ideal or target market, but you also want to identify who that is for many reasons, because a lot of the whole business revolves around your market and who you're trying to attract in. So this works through developing a marketing plan and a budget and branding and what the heck is branding. So it talks about what all of those things are. Implementing marketing strategies. Like, again, this is pretty in-depth, pretty, kind of, I wouldn't say it's complicated, but it can get complicated when you're looking at different businesses. But certainly good idea to go in, read in some of this information, figure out, if nothing else, just doing market research and defining your target market is the starting point, but definitely something that you want to do in any business, no matter how big or small it may be. So now we were actually at the level of starting the business. So let's look at how we're going to operate this business, what days of the week it's going to work or it's going to be open, who does the purchasing for the business, so who brings in the stock, who brings in the inventory, how do you reduce some of those costs? Do you need an inventory management system? It depends on what the business is that you're looking at. It could be a business for products, it could be a business for services, or it could be a combination of both. So depending on what level and what your needs are, you may have a very simple operational plan, or it may get more and more complicated. So again, another tool to look at on operating your business and actually getting it started. So now we're up, we're going, we're running, we're started. So one thing that I've always said to any business owner is that you really have to always be watching and evaluating your business. So when I first started my business in 2014, I had an idea of what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. And after my first year in business, or basically season, because my season is spring, summer, and fall. So my first operating season, I sat down in about this time of year, about November of my first year, and I started to look at what were my major sales? What were the biggest sales? Were they similar to what I expected? You know, when I look back at my original business plan, was it accurate? It was fairly accurate, but I did find that there was a demand for more group-oriented type of activities. So for example, I started doing what's called a day at the ranch. So people can come in small groups of 10 to 20 people and participate in a horse experience and horseback riding with a small group. I also started offering birthday parties because that was something that I had a lot of calls and demand for. So when I really look back at what my original business plan, it has changed significantly over the last 8 years for sure, and the last 2 years being very strange because of COVID. But there's definitely been changes and evaluations that I've made, and I've had to change some of my pricing strategies. I've had to change some of my marketing strategies. So you always want to be looking back and evaluating your business. So when you're managing your business, you want to make sure that you're looking at improving, coming up with different plans. For example, here they're talking about, what about an emergency or a disaster? One of the things I made sure I had for my own peace of mind is I made sure that I had training in first aid and CPR. So if something ever happened to somebody that was on my property or, was riding one of my horses, that I had the ability to help them if something tragic should happen. Thankfully, nothing has, but I have that information, and I also upgrade it every 2 years as required. So, there's different things that you're going to look at, but certainly you want to have a plan for the future, and you may change how your business is not necessarily run, but maybe you'll change your hours of operation. Maybe you'll change your number of staffing. So looking back, evaluating, revising your plan. I write a business plan every year. So I can look at my upcoming year and I can plan for, what I'm going to do. I can start planning my marketing strategy for the year, and any other revisions that I may need to do. The next part of managing growth in a business is to look at, is there room for growth? Where, if physically, is there room for growth? In the market, is there room for growth? Can you start looking outside of our local market and bringing in people from the region, from the other parts of the province, from other provinces, or even from the States? So when you're ready to start looking at growing your business, then it's a matter of evaluating, where do you want to go with the business from here? And this is, again, some websites to help you to do that. And that comes to that's actually the last part of the business list, the steps to starting a business list. So I'm going to stop the share on here just for now. I know I gave you a lot of information in a short period of time. I was hoping that I would have a few minutes at the end here so that we would have time for questions. just going to go back to my agenda. First, I have to find my agenda. I think I had one other thing on there. So starting, upcoming webinars. I don't actually have a lot as far as upcoming webinars at the moment. We're just sort of getting back into doing the webinars right now because of COVID. We've had to switch, of course, to online. But I do have an email list that I compile and send out information on different webinars, whether they're our webinars or other business related webinars that might be coming up. So I can add you guys to that list if you're okay with that, and I can send you out that information as it comes available. And I guess with that, I will open it up to any questions. I'm just going to check in the chat. I don't see any questions in there right now, but if you guys have a question, feel free to unmute your mic and you can ask any questions that you may have at this time. I see one head shaking no. Okay. All right, so I guess at this point then I will just open it. If anyone has questions that you'd like, or if you'd like assistance with your business plan, or if you would like, you know, to talk about financing or what programs might be available to you. And again, I did give you a lot of information all at once today. So if you want me to help you go back and kind of walk through the process, I'm happy to do that as well. So just let me know. You should all have my contact information, and I'll be sending you emails so you'll have it on there if you don't have it already. And feel free to get in touch with me, and I'm happy to help in any way that I can. I'm going to stay on for a few minutes, so if anyone wants to stay on and ask questions, feel free. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day. Oh, and I'll stop the recording as well, so that.
Just press the leave. Bye.
Okay, we got no questions. Thank you, Angela.
Okay, thank you guys. Thanks for coming.
Oh, she opened up the mic. Oh my God.